Welcome to Prepping on the Bayou with Sister Susan Bayou. Thank you for visiting my channel. In today's video, we will focus on fall transplants. What to plant right now in cell trays in July for a continuous harvest throughout the fall and the winter months. Here in Louisiana, we are blessed to be able to keep vegetables in the ground in our garden all year round. Where up north, they have to can or freeze or store in a root cellar for the winter months. And this is how we do it. The goal is to basically use the fall and winter garden like a giant, inexpensive grocery store's produce refrigerator. Keeping everything at its peak of freshness until we're ready to use them. This is how it works. We plant our fall and winter garden together with the intent to have everything up and already grown by the end of November. Why, you might ask? In the winter, plants grow very little, slow to almost nothing. They just stay alive and they age very little until spring arrives. Then they take off growing once again. So if the plants are not fully grown by the end of November, you will not have anything to harvest in the winter months. So with everything grown by the end of November, the garden becomes a giant refrigerator. You can go out and harvest like a grocery store to cook whatever is in season all winter long, fresh. The cold will not bother winter crops, the frost or the light freezes. The only thing we have to be concerned about is ice storms or heavy snow on these crops. And there are things you can do to protect them even then. Like low tunnels over your row crops to keep snow and ice off. And another way is to cover your root crops, like your carrots and stuff, with hay as a blanket to keep the ice and the snow off of them. It's not every winter that we get snow and ice storms, but it does happen. And this year we're having an El Nino year, which means there will be a lot of wet weather coming through and possible snow and ice, so that you can be prepared. This might be one of those cold winters. Another thing to consider in planting the fall garden is to use your harvest dates. Let me explain. I plant 3 varieties of cabbages: an early cabbage, a mid-season cabbage variety, and a late cabbage, all at one time in July in cell trays, and transplant them into the garden in September, all at the same time. The early variety is called Golden Acres cabbage, and it has a harvest date of just 64 days. And the mid-season cabbage I use is an early round Dutch cabbage with a harvest date of 75 days. And finally, the late cabbage variety is called Late Flat Dutch, and it has a harvest date of 100 days before it'll be ready. The Golden Acre variety will be ripe and ready to eat in just 64 days, and we eat those out first. Then the early round Dutch ripens next at 75 days, and we eat those out second. Then finally we have the Late Flat Dutch cabbage to keep harvesting throughout the winter months. You can take a screenshot of this image and take it with you to the store to pick up your seeds that you would want to start your transplant trays with. And remember, there are still some seeds left at the Dollar Tree for 50 cents a pack. The transplants that you're making now will be ready to go into the garden in 6 weeks. Cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and Chinese cabbage. As we move on in the year and get closer to the colder weather, I plan on doing a more detailed focus video on winterizing the garden, how to protect your crops throughout the winter. And now for the End Time Watchers part of the video. This report came out today as oil prices pass $100 a barrel again as the Middle East conflict escalates. The oil price peaked at $126 a barrel in April during the conflict, but fell back below $100 a barrel in late May, and had fallen as low as $71 a barrel at the start of July amid hopes of a ceasefire in the region. And now it has started to climb back up again. Prices are now above $100 a barrel for the first time in 2 months. So with oil prices going up, we can expect gasoline prices to go up at the pump as well, which should affect everyone's household. Gardening skills and prepping are very handy in navigating economically difficult times, but the Lord is the one who brings us through it all. Spend time with Him every day and get good directions in these last days.